Welcome to This Explainer. All right, let's just jump right into it. Today, we're unpacking a deeply frustrating paradox of human behavior. And honestly, it's one that affects every single one of us.
Look, we all know we shouldn't lose our temper, right? We know we should really use that insanely expensive, guilt-inducing gym membership, or maybe eat a little healthier instead of reaching for that late-night snack. Yet time and time again, we still fall short. It creates this massive, totally maddening gap between the information neatly stored in our heads and our actual everyday actions. So why does this happen? Why is it literally so hard to bridge the distance between understanding a concept and actually living it?
Enter a radical 15th century philosopher named Wang Yangming. He challenged this whole dynamic with an absolute mic drop of a statement. He said, knowing without doing is simply not knowing. Without one sentence, he completely redefined what it actually means to learn something. Basically, according to him, if you aren't doing it, you don't actually know it. It's not an issue of weak willpower at all. It's a matter of true understanding.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that Yang Ming wasn't talking about, memorizing trivia. It wasn't talking about knowing that the Earth orbits the sun. Those are just facts you passively write down on a piece of paper. Instead, he was talking about practical, moral knowledge that hits you on a physical, visceral level. Think about knowing the feeling of physical pain or stepping out into the freezing cold without a coat. That is a type of knowledge that inherently demands an immediate reaction from your very being.
To understand just how spot-on Yangming was, we actually have to fast-forward a few centuries to modern neuroscience. Let's look at a cognitive framework called predictive coding. See, instead of just passively taking in information from your eyes and ears, your brain is constantly predicting what's going to happen next based on its internal world model. And when the real world doesn't match that prediction, well, your brain experiences a prediction error, basically a neurological oops moment, and it's forced to update its model.
Let's compare these concepts directly, because modern science shows us that true knowledge isn't just some sticky note filed away in a dusty memory drawer in your brain waiting to be read. Instead, true knowing acts as the actual lens through which your mind predicts the future. It is fundamentally baked right into how your brain operates and how you navigate your environment every single second of the day.
So here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. When you truly internalize a concept, it physically changes what you expect to happen next. It fundamentally rewires your attention, your feelings, and your automatic split-second responses way before you even have a chance to consciously think about it. It's like the difference between intellectually thinking about stepping on the brakes and your foot just automatically slamming down the split second you see a red light.
We've all been there, right? Imagine getting an unanswered text message, just staring at those dreaded, blinking typing bubbles that suddenly vanish. The external fact is just no reply. But based on your specific internal world model, your brain is going to instantly generate one of these completely different emotional realities. You might automatically predict, oh, they're just busy. Or you might completely panic that your relationship is in trouble, or assume they're intentionally ignoring you.
This is wild because it brilliantly illustrates that the silence didn't actually create your anxiety. It simply probed your internal world model. It's much like a doctor tapping your knee with a little hammer to test a reflex. The external world isn't a mirror reflecting some objective truth. It's a probe testing what you actually expect from reality.
We can see this play out again when a boss offers criticism. Your internal model totally dictates the reality you experience. Brain A instantly hears an invitation to collaborate and improve a specific work problem. Brain B, on the other hand, hears a devastating personal attack on their abilities. The words coming out of the boss's mouth are exactly the same, but the internal predictions completely change the emotional outcome and, of course, the resulting action.
And boom, there it is. This perfectly explains that frustrating gap we talked about at the very beginning. You might conceptually agree with the phrase, criticism is helpful. Sure, sounds great. But if your body instantly tenses up in defense the second you receive it, well, your true world model still believes something entirely different. The new rule just hasn't been internalized into your neurological reflexes yet.
So this is where our two sources of wisdom beautifully align. While cognitive science brilliantly maps out the neutral biological mechanics of how our brain's predictions work, Yangming's philosophy steps in to provide the necessary moral compass for what those models should actually aim toward. Science gives us the how, but Yangming gives us the ethical why.
To actually update these models, Yangming insisted we have to engage in what he called polishing through practice, or shishangmo in Chinese. Basically, this means we have to actively seek out real-world friction to deliberately expose and ethically correct our hidden expectations. Just like smoothing out a rough stone, it takes real friction and real work. You literally can't change your reflexes by just sitting in a quiet, comfortable room thinking about them.
This forms what is essentially an unbreakable learning cycle. Step 1, your action creates real-world friction. Step 2, that friction exposes what your true internal predictions are. Step 3, you experience reality's actual feedback. And finally, Step 4, your internal world model updates based on that. This brilliantly proves that knowing and doing aren't two separate stages at all. They are literally just two sides of the exact same loop.
And honestly, this shows us exactly why reading a massive stack of self-help books usually changes absolutely nothing on its own. Without action, your new understanding is never reality tested. And without being totally open to that sometimes harsh feedback, your actions are just going to blindly repeat your existing prejudices. True knowing only happens when a new understanding survives the intense pressure of real-world testing.
Ultimately, true knowing means you have already begun to live differently. It's no longer just a clever sentence bouncing around in your head. It is the very fabric of how you navigate the world. So I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take away today. Look at your actions today, just your regular daily habits, and really ask yourself, do you actually know, or are you just collecting information?